Joining us now is Josh Hartt. Josh is a college student and head of his dorm at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. And he called me up yesterday and he said, look, I went back to my dorm and all my stuff is gone. They just took it. Where'd it go? Hey, Josh, great to have you, man.
Hi, nice to be on.
Start with, Josh, who you are, what school you're in. Are you a sophomore, junior, and what your position is in the dorm? Go ahead.
So I'm a freshman, actually, at VCU. My name is Josh Hartt. And I kind of, in my dorm, we live in the honors residence hall, which is for, like, the honors students at VCU, which is kind of a different program. And I am an elected residential housing representative. So we have, like, this kind of meeting between all the dorms, and I go there and represent the concerns of our resident hall.
School was closed, right? So you had to leave. So tell us what happened.
So we moved to online classes, like just about every other university in Virginia, and we get an email from housing telling us that there's a few convenient days where we can come get our stuff out of the dorms, but I'm quoting an email here, and it says, you do not need to return to campus at this time to gather your belongings. So, because that's in the email, most of us didn't return to campus to gather our belongings. But 2 nights ago, a Facebook user posted a video of him and his moving company moving everything out of the building. And this was the first any of the students had heard about this. It was just a screen recording that just proceeded to go viral on Twitter. There was no communication from the administration, no communication from the state. So, of course, everyone's panicking. I mean, the amount of discomfort you feel when someone is in your area going through your things without your knowledge is just horrifying, really.
So they just took everybody's stuff out. Where did it go?
So later, we all go to sleep. We wake up the next morning, and we get an email saying that VCU and VCU Health Systems are working with the state and local officials to prepare in the event of surge of patients for the COVID epidemic. And they're saying that they're going to transform this building into a place to host non-COVID, low-acuity patients if need be. And what they said they're going to do with our belongings is they are taking them, boxing them, labeling them, moving them to storage, which we don't have access to for another 2 weeks.
Wow, okay. So they're going to take your dorm, potentially turn it into a hospital situation or a convalescent situation, and so they just, without your knowledge, just got the moving vans in there, cleaned out everybody's stuff, and you got stuff in there, your furniture and other things, your books, your belongings, your clothes, and you have no idea where they are.
Exactly, yeah. And so...
And they never told anybody.
A lot of questions. No one. And of course they released this statement, apologizing afterwards, but, I mean, the apology is just so condescending. They said, and I quote from the email, inventories, your belongings are going to be inventoried, boxed, labeled, and relocated to the Richmond Commercial Services at no cost to you. It's like, great, you're going through my room without my consent, taking my things to a different location, not telling me I can't get them for another 2 weeks, but, at least they're doing it for free. And that's really the closest thing we got that resembled an apology from the school.
Unbelievable. So they just basically took your stuff. You don't know where it is. Nobody told anybody. Why did they just tell everybody what was going on?
That's where we just draw a complete blank. So there's a lot of questions that are still unaddressed with this. I've emailed President Rao numerous times and only gotten one response, which was, a very general political response.
Right.
But, I mean, this is an expedited moving. They moved out over 200 dorms in a single day. Like, the valuables, any fragile valuables that are going to be broke, how are we going to be reimbursed for that? And, I'd like to believe people are good, but it's really unlikely that small valuables that were just left lying around the room, like necklaces, jewelry, are going to remain there. I mean, there's really no accountability for the people moving it not to take it.
Well, I just got a text here from Jeremy in Chesapeake. He said, welcome to the state of emergency. See, once the governors claim a state of emergency, then they have the right to do whatever you want with your personal belongings. I mean, basically, if you lived in an apartment complex that they needed, they could just come and commandeer that kick you out, put your stuff in a van, never know where it is, tell you got to get out, go live with your parents or live in your car. See, that's what happens in a state of emergency. It's like wartime. The government can come in if they need hotels or they need various places for operation. They can just kick everybody out and commandeer it. That's a state of emergency. That's the way it works. So you're experiencing it now.
Yeah, and the scary thing is
it's
too,
not
that
a pleasant thing. Like I'll give you an example. During the Second World War, there's a famous hotel in Virginia Beach that's been remade now, the Cavalier. And during the Second World War, we had a lot of Navy personnel, and they simply came in. The government simply came in. The Navy came in, commandeered the hotel, kicked everybody out, kicked the owners out, commandeered it, took it over, had German prisoners cutting the grass that they got, and that was turned into housing and training for Navy personnel that they were putting on ships. So this is what a state of emergency does. The governor can commandeer anything. Your house, your apartment, your school, your dorm, and maybe you get the stuff back, maybe not.
Yeah, and it really is a scary notion, too, because, he did release a statement saying that Northam released a statement saying he was looking and working with the Army Corps of Engineers to identify sites around the state that could be used as potential healthcare situations. But he made sure to explicitly say, should the need arise? And the question is, in Richmond, is there a need for an entire auxiliary hospital right now? And, the simple answer is no. We're looking at only 42 cases of COVID in the Richmond area, and only 11 of which are actually in the city now. Maybe this could have been a good policy. If they had waited maybe 4 days, giving us a time to come get our stuff. If this was optional, the honors community is extremely community service oriented. There would be no problem. Everyone would come move out their stuff. But the fact is they're taking away our choice as renters, as students, they're just coming and taking our stuff rather than us giving the choice, which is ridiculous. And this is a problem. COVID is a pandemic. It's an emergency. But it's not at that level yet where the government needs to be seizing property, seizing, people's houses, or not really houses, but their dorm rooms like this right now.
Well, Josh Hartt, welcome to the New World Order. And see, here's the thing, Josh. See, the next time it'll be easier. This is what I've been saying for a month on the radio. You're upset right now because you don't know where your stuff is. Nobody told you. They simply commandeered your dorm, threw your stuff out. If you were there, they'd have thrown you out as well, right? So this is big government, state of emergency, and now you're upset. But see, how old are you, Josh? 20?
19.
19? Okay, so you're 19. So let's say this happens again when you're 23, right? Another 4 years. So now you get it, right? It's already happened once, so it happens again. And then now you're 28, and it happens for a third time. And by the time you're 35, Josh, it's happened 4 or 5 times. Every time it gets worse, you get, first you're thrown out of your dorm, then you're thrown out of your apartment, then your family's displaced from your home, then they commandeer your business, and you have to obey and comply. And by the 5th time at 38 years old, it's part of the way of life. This is how these things happen. So you're upset today. What they hope is by the 3rd time this happens, you don't say anything. You're beaten into obedience. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
no. And
I'm sure they have their reasons for commandeering your dorm, and you don't know where your stuff is, and no one else has it, but they have that power now.
Yeah.
And it always gets easier the second time.
Yeah, and when you give them an inch, they will take a mile every single time. Every single time. And if you think this is not that bad, there's worse things to come. Like you said, this is where it starts. It's little by little, Things, authoritarian governments don't develop overnight. It's a little by little. And I think this is an emergency, but it doesn't warrant government actions like this.
Well, like you said, if they were going to commandeer your dorm and take all your stuff out, you at least should have been notified. But see, under the emergency order, they have no responsibility to notify you. Yeah. Just like now, we've got states and governors now and attorney generals telling neighbors to get the binoculars out, and if you see somebody that walks their dog 3 times, you call the police. That's the next step.
And how can we be expected to help our neighbors through this situation when we're being forced to move out of the dorms? We're taking away the opportunity to provide charity to people who need it. It's not really charity if you're compelled to do it. And, no one would have had a problem, moving up their stuff. Most people aren't staying in the dorm. No one would have had a problem moving. But we're forced to. And that's where the issue lies, It's a very simple thing to send an email, give us 4 days to move our stuff out, and start the project then. It's a very simple thing. But
if they did that, they couldn't exercise their power, Josh.
Yeah.
See, Josh, this is about obedience, right? Obey us, and if you don't obey us, you're not going to get your stuff back. Josh, welcome to the New World Order, and thanks for sharing that with everybody, Josh. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
And good luck in getting your stuff back, Josh. I wouldn't hold your breath.
I'll need it.